Good morning, buongiorno, buenas noches. Welcome to Life Lessons Straight Up with a Twist. I am your host, Charity Youngblood, and I am so excited and grateful that you are here with me today. This podcast is unedited because life is unedited. As always, we'll get started with a question and whatever activity you engage in to explore your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, please feel free to do. So today's first question is, am I thinking big enough? Am I thinking big enough? So I mentioned this on the podcast a few episodes ago that my husband and I are currently renovating our apartment. I like to say my husband and I, although I am not doing any of the renovating. Whatever, we're a unit. Go with it. So we are currently renovating, and I wanted to bring this to the podcast specifically because of a lot of reasons. But basically, I don't remember exactly when it was, but it was a few years ago, and I was reading this book that was highlighting the fact that one of her clients that she was working with, changed this home that they were living in, right? So they did all these renovations in order to sell it. And then once they did all the renovations, they realized that if they would have done the renovations before deciding to sell it, they would have just stayed there because it was just so beautiful, right? The home was everything that they wanted it to be. And ever since I read that story, and along with some other things that, have come my way in terms of just the energy that I want around me, I'm creating a lot. I'm writing a whole lot. I'm just in a season of like creation and I'm doing a lot of writing and just the energy that I want around me when I am working inside my home. So in my office, and also the energy that I want in my bedroom. I have more to say, I guess, or I want it to kind of be a little bit more intentional and purposeful like the rest of my life. So anyways, I sat down with my husband. We check in with each other all the time on just, how we're feeling, how things are going. But this particular day I sat down and I was like, hey, we've decided that we want to stay in this place for another few years. But this is not a home that neither one of us are really, proud to live in. Like there's some things that we want to change. There's some things that we'd like it to look like. And so let's sit down and really talk about what that would look like. So for me, all I said was I'd like to paint the walls in my office and I'd like to paint the walls in my bedroom. And I might have said something else, but I'm almost positive it was just paint. It was like very basic stuff. So like redecorating, not renovation, just redecorating. So my husband it's his turn to talk and he's like, fantastic. And he starts going down the list of all the things that he wants to do to the apartment. He's like, I want to change the cabinets in the kitchen. I want a brand new this. We're going to take this out of the kitchen. We're going to get brand new tile. We're going to change this in the bathroom and this, that, and the third. In your room, you're going to get these kind of lights. In the office, we're going to take this up. We're going to put, replace the carpet with hardwood floor. I was like, whoa, oh my God. Now, full disclosure, I knew better because I know who I'm married to. So I should not have been surprised. You might have been surprised by that answer because you don't know Joshua. My husband has grown up in architecture and construction. For the majority of his adult life and some of his teenage years, he has been working in architecture and construction. He currently is a consultant for in architecture and construction. That is his life. So I don't know what I was expecting, but it was just funny. So that was the conversation. And it led me to think about this question. Am I thinking big enough? Here we are with this opportunity to make our home something we are really proud to live in. The energy, the space, all the things. And the only thing I bring to the table is paint. So it was very funny and we still laugh about it. But I really want you to think about if there's an area in your life right now, in your present moment, where all you're bringing to the table is paint. Like this life, and we know this, and I know this, and that's one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about this today. We know this life is not a dress rehearsal. We are not going to get another chance. And whether it's something small or big that's going to shift in our lives, if we're not going at it with all of our heart and all of our soul, what's the point? And so if there's an area of your life where you're really playing it very small, you're playing it very safe, this is a good one because I am right there with this point. You think that you're going to make the wrong decision because you've made so many wrong decisions where you think you've made so many wrong decisions before, where your life hasn't played out in certain areas where it's your career, your health, your relationships, whatever it is, it hasn't played out the way that you wanted it to play out. So now you're playing it so safe that you don't want to do anything. You don't want to make a choice. Well, what if it's the wrong choice? Or what if this happens? Or what if that happens? That you don't want to even think big enough. Am I just talking to myself? If I'm not talking to myself, give me a raise your hand. Let me know I'm not alone in this. And this is huge because a lot of this exploration, especially with this question, is you have to be willing to trust yourself. So if you really feel like you're in that space of you're playing small and how, am I thinking big enough? Another question to ask yourself is, why am I thinking so small? Why do I feel like I'm thinking small? Is there something that has occurred in my past that I haven't let go of yet? Is there something in my past that I haven't let go of yet that is preventing me from thinking big? And really give yourself the space to think about and explore these questions. Because a lot of times, our history is our worst enemy. Yes, our future can be too. But for me and for what I've seen, history is much more of a block than the future because the future hasn't happened yet. The future can be a lot more promising, but that history, that thing that happened when you failed and you got disappointed and you put yourself out there and it didn't work out the way that you thought it should, and you didn't get that job that you worked so hard to get, and you didn't get that grade that you thought that, listen, I'm right there with you. History has been my worst enemy because that was the proof, right? It was the proof that I couldn't do this, that, and the third. Well, I can't think big enough. My last dream didn't pan out. My last plan didn't pan out. And if you are there, first of all, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, because I have been there myself. And what I will say is these questions and exploring things and looking at things behind a different lens has been a game changer. Everything that I have learned up to this point has really been from the intention of what is the lesson that life is trying to teach me in this moment. So I really challenge you to take these questions and explore these in whatever way works best for you. And curiosity, not judgment. I'm going to say that every time. So those are the questions I had on my heart. As always, please rate, review, share this podcast with whoever you might think this will be helpful for. If it was helpful for you, it's probably going to be helpful for someone else. And until next time, take care.